Welcome to Unhinged Magi! Here we are. We're back.
Here.
We're having a good time.
Playing arcades.
Yes, indeed. And we don't even have to pump in quarters.
Yep, that's the best part, actually.
Yeah, it actually is.
Yeah.
It's free. Well, not really free since you paid for it, but
it's free now.
it's free now. That's right. It's free.
Arcades in your house.
He bought them.
If you can somehow con your wife into letting you buy arcades for your house.
Here's the video for you, because we're going to tell you how to trick her. First, tell her this is a nice makeup stand. And knock stuff over that you shouldn't knock over.
It's okay, it was just the bronies will be mad.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
That's fine. You know how you really trick your wife into letting you buy arcades?
You knock over pony cards that are still in box and make a big giant dent in it. No way.
You actually buy her what she wants first. And then the guilt hopefully will allow you to be able to buy them.
That's actually a brilliant
Yeah,
idea. There you go. You can take that to the bank. We're done.
Okay, well hey, you know what? They're probably looking at the title of this video and wondering, when are they going to talk about the title?
Okay, well what does the title say, folks?
Price box.
It does? Okay, good.
Or
the price
bagels.
of the box.
We might have named this Bagels.
And we might have named it Bagels because I don't. Yeah, well, we're going to be talking about prices of the box. We all know that Wizard makes boxes. Wizards makes boxes, right? Mm-hmm. And so we want value out of that box, don't we? You want value out of that box?
I want value out of that box.
Okay, so do you want value out of that box?
They want value out of that box.
Do you want that value of the box to tank after you bought the box?
No.
Do you want to pay $118 for your box and then somebody else comes behind you 2 months later and buys it for $79.95?
They do not want that.
You don't want that?
No, they don't.
You don't want that?
I'm speaking for the people. You're welcome.
Okay, so as pretend CEO, I always come up with weird solutions that may work, right? They may be a little bit strange, they may be a little bit confusing, but they should work in theory. So I do have a couple ideas. One, how many people hate the reserve list? Oh, God! Okay, oh, wow, man, a lot of people. They threw a bunch of tomatoes and they got sticky.
It's okay, they threw it at their screens.
Oh.
It didn't actually come through the camera.
You know, sometimes I think stuff's going to come out of that camera.
Yes.
You almost nailed it.
I did. Somebody threw one at the screen right there. I said no, I hate the reserve list, okay?
Okay, well, we're not adding to the reserve list. However, what I was thinking was we could have a tiered reserve list kind of thing where we promise at Wizards of the Coast, pretend CEO, where we promise not to print certain cards over a certain period of time. Such as, let's say we print
It's not forever.
Not forever. Let's say we print Jace the Mind Sculptor just now, right? We printed it. And we printed it in Double Masters. Then we could promise not to print it for 5 years because we've literally printed it a couple of times now, right? So now we say 5 years we're not going to print it. And we keep our honor and say we don't, right? Because that's what Wizards of the Coast do. Then we could have other cards like, let's say, Force of Will. We say we don't print that for 3 years. So it's and then a secondary one would be 0 casting cost, deals 2 damage to you.
Deals 2 damage to you?
Yeah, gives you mana.
Oh, you're talking about,
Jeez.
well, you're not talking about Mana Crypt. You're talking about...
No, maybe I am talking about mana.
Well, that's 3 damage. Flip the coin, 3 damage.
3 damage, yeah. Okay, so Mana Crypt. I'm sorry, I got all that all wrong. Alright, but anyways, Mana Crypt comes in and we say it's only going to be 2 years, right? So you
look 2 toes.
Yep. Yeah, there it is. Okay, now, put down those. I'm not touching your feet.
Okay.
Anyways.
We'll just go like this.
Okay, so as you can see, it's an artificial reserve list where we say we're not going to print expectation-wise, we're not going to print certain cards for a certain period of time. And it can be tiered like that. So we've printed something way too many times, we're going to promise not to print anymore. This will help maintain box value. At least wait a year bare minimum, maybe 2. But 2 would be the best part. So it's like it comes out and we guarantee that it won't be for 2 years bare minimum. We make announcements for the 5-year and you make announcements for the 3-year, and that kind of helps maintain that value. As you get closer to that date, people might sell off the cards believing that it's going to go down in value. However, I have a secondary control mechanism. We're going to tell you that we're not going to print at certain levels. So let's say common, that will only be printed again at uncommon level.
They only go up.
Rare, it only gets printed at mythic. Mythic gets printed at ultra mythic, right? Where you can barely get it. So that way it's still, your card has that hold of value. Does it get reprinted?
Yes.
Do people get more supply?
Yes.
Does it maintain its value better?
Yes.
And so now when you go and buy a box at 119, in theory it won't tank to 79, right? In theory.
Now the good side of this is, like, a lot of you newer Magic players haven't had the opportunity to experience this because they're always just like taking any card of value and just gushing them into the market. But when you actually have cards, at least some ability to know that those cards are going to go up, this magical thing happens where people that have all these older, more expensive, sought-after cards might actually trade with you, because the cards that you'd be offering to them are not like driving a new car off the lot where the second the tire hits a public street, your car's lost 20% of its value, right? It's not going to be junk like that. There's actually going to be something they can look at and say, well, at least this card's going to have value for some amount of time.
Right. Now, what happens to the CEO when their value of their boxes maintains itself or increases slightly? Well, those boxes are going to sell out.
They are.
And that's good for the CEO because he'll look like a genius.
That will be the limited supply. If you wanted to have those cards, if they ever go up and you actually still had some sealed boxes sitting there, those boxes are pretty good for like the next 5 or 4 years, whatever.
Exactly.
While you're waiting for that time window to expire. But it will eventually expire.
Yes.
But if anyone gets too upset about it, at some point they will be available.
Exactly.
Unlike the reserve list, which has now been 24 years,
Yes.
and it's still at no.
Yeah, it's like, nope.
And it's always going to be no.
Never going to happen.
Yep.
You're hosed.
Yeah.
Forever.
But not this idea.
Not this idea. It's a temporary kind of reserve list that they make an announcement of that you would know in advance. That way nothing's hidden. It's not like it's a secret traders agreement,
Yep.
you know, where you're going to violate that kind of stuff. So it's all known, and you know what level it's going to come back at.
Now, some people might look at this kind of idea and talk about how, like, MTG finance type people will love this kind of idea and they might choose to invest or buy some of these cards. Which could happen.
That's
you know,
true.
there could be some of that, right? But at the size of the print runs that Wizards of the Coast is pushing towards these days, there's so many cards printed, it's very difficult to do any kind of level of buyout on newer cards these days.
That's true. I mean, if you look at Zendikar Rising, they have like 2 lower tier box sets. One is called the booster set, and the other one's just, it's like a draft booster set, but you get a foil in every pack, and the other one's just like your standardized box. Also has a nice little perk of a random card every once in a while with a certain number of packs from the ancient times. But putting out 2 base sets kind of like that is kind of, they have to compete with each other for sales.
Yeah.
You gotta stop doing that as a CEO, putting out all these different kind of boxes. Collector box, okay, that made sense. Your little set booster box, that made sense too. Get rid of one of them, because now you're printing way too much into the open market for basics. For the, you know, not the one, because this base set booster thing, that was a great idea. I liked it. Printing the other box to go along with it, that was dumb. That's like throwing money in the toilet. All right, so if you buy the box, you know you're going to lose value.
Now, it's also interesting to look at this. Like, I like to sometimes bring the concepts of finance world down into the Magic space because there's interesting collisions that can happen. And this kind of idea actually has a very similar kind of analogy to options trading in the actual futures market of stocks. And so you might actually hit situations where, like, your box has like a certain value, but the value is going to go down pretty soon because you're going to surpass that 5-year window, and therefore those cards could be printed again, and therefore that could like add more supply and drop the value. But you could also hit situations where that new printing of cards could reintroduce it into the standard format, which increases demand and send it back up.
That's right.
So the point is, the future price of the cards might actually is what people would be looking towards, and they'd be trading current box prices based on the future where it's going to go. And so, like, if I'm really going to bring some finance world topics out of here, you could actually get into a situation of backwardation or contango, where the price actually gets in front of or behind its futures price. And Google points, if anyone actually went to go search those terms right after I said it, you get points.
You know that you're going to do that, right?
Yeah.
Many of them.
Yeah, go look those up. Teach yourself finance, guys.
So these are kind of some ideas. So they have to reduce and minimize what they're printing, because that's just a waste of money if you're going to be printing two base sets that are pretty much almost the same. This one, the other one was just way better. So the one that they print a lot of is just going to tank. I don't want them to, as CEO, I wouldn't want something to just sit on my shelves just because it can't move.
And just because they can print something in a 5-year window's gone by doesn't actually even mean they will.
Right.
It just means that the ability's there.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think this would be a good base model to kind of maintain and hold the value of those boxes together.
So do you think Chris Cox, the WotC CEO, should be paying attention to this idea?
He should be, and you should send it to him, because I'm the pretend CEO, and most of my ideas are brilliant.
The hat.
You also need to send it to Brian Goldner, who's the CEO of Hasbro as well, because he can actually tell Chris Cox what to do.
Yep.
And really, Brian Goldner, you really should watch my videos too, especially the CEO ones.
Yeah.
Because I believe in my ideas, and I think these ideas are good to hold your value. Because nobody wants to go in, buy 100, go game day, I'm going to buy myself a box of Magic the Gathering and watch it tank.
There is a balance to be had here. Don't destroy people's card values, but you also do want to make cards accessible to people.
Exactly.
You don't want to swing for the fences on either way completely. You want to find that happy medium between those two.
And you can. I think there's a perfect medium, and I think this is pretty much it.
Okay, there you go. You gave them some of their best ideas.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, we're done now.
We're done.
I don't know what we're going to do.
Drop them.
Yeah, drop mic. Okay, so with that, what do you guys think? I want to hear about your thoughts. I want to see those comments below.
Comments are great. Feedback is awesome.
Yep, bagels are awesome too.
Yes, and bagels.
Yeah.
Or donuts.
Yeah, donuts too. God, that sounds good right now.
Donuts.
Okay, I'm going to go get a donut. Bye,
Right,
everybody.
cool. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Emma listens. Wow, I always had to do a single. And she's, okay, we're good.
Okay, you ready? In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Welcome to the retakes.
Yes, sorry.
That's fine.
I mean, I've been good so far.
You have actually. You've been on it. I was impressed. Okay, ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.